Welcome back to Lab 5, Build Your DB Server and Interact with your DB using an app. I'm Richard Golson, and let's take a look at Task 2, Create a DB Subnet Group. Now, in this task, we're going to create this DB subnet group that is used to tell the RDS service which subnets can be used for the database. Each DB subnet group requires subnets and at least 2 availability zones. Now, if you recall, this is going to be a high availability solution, which means that we will be deploying both a primary or main RDS instance and then this standby instance in a second subnet in a second availability zone. So again, we have to tell the RDS service where to place those RDS instances using this DB subnet group. So let's take a look at this now. You can see that I've already have RDS service queued up over here. And if you take a look over here, I've begun to create our DB subnet group. You can see that I went past that really fast, but there's that option for clicking on that. So I've already filled in the name of the DB subnet group and then the description. They look pretty repetitive. Once again, I have to choose that lab VPC, very important. And then coming down here is where I will do the configuration for the availability zones. So I need to select 2 availability zones. So I'm going to be selecting US East 1A and US East 1B. So we'll go ahead and select those now. So here's that 1A, 1B, which matches up what we're doing here, right? We'll go ahead and close those up. So those have been both checked. Now we need to select the 2 subnets. And if you look at the addresses of the 2 ranges, 10.0.10/24 and 10.0.30/24, and those match up with the 2 private subnets, private subnet 1, private subnet 2. So I'll go ahead and select those from the list. And so again, I can't really rely upon the name, so I need to make sure I know what IP addresses I need. So here's that 1. Okay, so note when it's sorted, it's showing US East 1B first in the list. And so I have to really pay attention to the availability zones and then the subnets that I select so I don't get confused on what I'm choosing. And I'll click on that. And then if I look down here, I can confirm this configuration here. I should be selecting the 10.0.10 and the 10.0.30. This is for a multi-AZ DB clusters. Excuse me, this is for multi-AZ, not a DB cluster. If I were doing a DB cluster, I'd have to have 3 subnets and 3 different availability zones. So we're all good here. So what I'll do is go ahead and hit the create button. Confirm that it's completed. Notice that when you check it, you don't get a pop down. So we always have to be mindful that each of these consoles might behave a little bit differently. In order to see the details, I'll click here and then I can look through the details here. There's the VPC that I should be using. There's this DB subnet group in the description. And then here are the availability zones and the subnets. And if we take a look here, that pretty much gets us through this particular lab. So when we come back, we'll take a look at task 3, create an Amazon RDS DB instance, because we're all set up for that. All right, we'll see you then.